And we have 32 members.
All right, thank you, Nancy. Julie Martin.
I already introduced myself. I was the first one.
Okay, thank you. I didn't start marking off names right away, and then I was like, wait a minute, how am I going to keep track? All right, is there anybody that I did forget? And if I did, I apologize.
Valerie, did Valerie speak?
Valerie is our speaker, so I will let her go last. And before she starts, I will tell a little bit about Valerie. Valerie is the current chapter president of Beta Chapter. And tonight she's going to share with us ways that she has organized her chapter and what a meeting with Beta would look like. She's going to share an agenda with us. So thank you, Valerie, for being with us, and I will let you take over at this time. Is Valerie here?
She's muted.
She's muted. Oh, but she's
Valerie is on.
Thank you. It's an honor and a joy to be with you. I'm a 47-year member of Delta Kappa Gamma. And in 1986, I was elected president of Beta Chapter. At that time, we had 7 officers, 12 committees, standing committees, 7 meetings annually, and 64 members in our chapter. It was shortly after our chapter had split and started Beta Chapter in Columbia, Missouri. I was 40 years old, and I was so proud and honored to be chosen president of my chapter. It was one of the most joyful leadership roles I have had. Fast forward to the spring of 2020, right after we all hunkered down for the pandemic, I became agitated when I realized not only how old I was, but how long I'd been a member of Delta Kappa Gamma, and I had this burning desire to be a 50-year member. Now, I don't mind if you laughed. Actually, I laughed at myself. I've never had a burning desire to be a 50-year member of anything, and I'm a member of several things and have been a member. But this became a dastardly desire. And at the same time, Delta Kappa Gamma published a bulletin, and the bulletin was volume 86. And on the front was a design that I can't recall now, but it was a lot of colors that really appealed to me. And I just opened the book, and there was a feature article by Dr. Judy Mertz called Forward Moving Ever, Back to the Future in DKG. 2 pages that spoke volumes to me. Now, at the time, in 2020, I was a reserve member of Beta Chapter because I live in Kansas City, Missouri, and Beta Chapter is in Columbia, Missouri. I knew I had to do something to help my chapter, or Beta Chapter wouldn't be around for my 50th anniversary. So I volunteered to have my name put on the slate for president, and I paid active membership dues. And for a year and a half, my tagline was the remote pandemic president of Beta Chapter. I completely redesigned the chapter organization, the responsibilities of officers, and the combination of responsibilities from 12 committees to 5. And I'm going to share the information with you. It is not proprietary. Pick and choose what may help you or what you're interested in, and we'll go from there. And I will seriously try to see the hand raising because I want to answer questions or hear your comments when they appear in the text of what we're going to talk about. 31 years later, I have just completed my second biennium as president and been reelected for the third biennium as president. We now have 5 officers, 5 committees, all renamed to suit my style, 4 chapter meetings annually, 1 council meeting in December, and I'm 75. So it's been a journey and one I have enjoyed. The members of Beta chapter have meant so much to me in my personal life and professional life. I still call on them. To revamp Beta chapter, I did 2 important things. I came up with some ideas that were very general, and I called every member of my chapter. There were 27 members of my chapter 2 years ago. There are 24 now. Unfortunately, some of them are due to extreme disease and death. However, this fall, next month, we will induct a new member. First, I studied the 7 purposes of Delta Kappa Gamma, and I said we have to put those first. And I organized those directives for each of the 5 committees. And because I like alliteration, I followed my heart and I created the Bo, Fo, Lo, Mo, and So committees. And I'll tell you what those mean. I did not deliberately separate the board from the members. The Bo committee, you call it the board. I call it the Business and Communications Opportunities Committee. And I have for 2 years, and some of the members are getting used to it. So I'm going to start and show you a picture through sharing screen of what our committees look like. And I don't know if I'll be able to see all of your hands raising. So Judy, would you be able to watch? I don't know how we'll be able to see this. Just unmute yourself and say, Valerie. And
Yeah,
then
can
just
also
say
keep an
whatever
eye
you
out
want.
and unmute also, so.
Yeah. Let's see if this, where is my screen? Okay. Screen sharing. Oops. I don't know how to get to my screen. Okay. Okay, here we go. These are our committees for this coming biennium. Here is the Bo committee. The Fo committee, that is the Fellowship and Finances Opportunities Committee. The Lo committee is the Leadership and Learning Opportunities Committee. The Mo committee is the Members and Membership Opportunities Committee. And the So committee is the Scholarship and Services Opportunities Committee. Now you'll notice that under each committee name in little print, there are different designations. We have 4 meetings a year, and these committees are in charge of one of those meetings. But one committee each year cycles off the meeting charge. So this year, for 2022-23, the Bo committee is in charge of the September meeting. The Fo committee is in charge of the February 2023 meeting. The Lo committee is in charge of October 2022 meeting. The Mo committee has the choice of March or April for their meeting. And the So committee has a support charge. They do not have a meeting assignment. Is everybody, is that clear? Okay. You'll see the Bow Committee is made up of the officers. Our focus is business and communications on behalf of Beta Chapter with Missouri State, International, and other chapters. And we get our support from Missouri State, Jana and Judy, and Diana and Myrna and Paulette and anybody we call on the yellow sheets, the yellow pages, and International DKG primarily through the website. I have a question into them now, and I'm hoping to get a response soon. The FO Committee, the Fellowship and Finances Committee, Barry Bumgarner is the chair, 4 members. Their focus is fellowship and finances. And I'm going to show you one example of their charge, of a committee charge. And you can see how I've linked specific purposes to these committees. Bethel Despain is the advisor, and each of the officers, except this year, I am not an advisor, but in the past years, I was an advisor too. Each officer is an advisor to a member committee. And Bethel is the treasurer. So it seemed appropriate, and she was more than happy to be. We call them mentors, advisors, cheerleaders, and supporters. She is the advisor for the FO Committee. The LOW Committee is leadership and learning. They have specific principles of or purposes of DKG aligned with their committee. Tracy Hager is their advisor, mentor, cheerleader, and support. She's our secretary. And March or April will be the meeting for the Members and Membership Opportunities Committee. Jill Villasana, our vice president, is the advisor of this committee. And she actually asked to be the advisor of this committee. The SO Committee does not have a meeting assignment this year, but they have a couple of charges, and one relates to the upcoming state Delta Kappa Gamma meeting in April. Their focus for their committee is scholarship and service, and this year it's going to be an emphasis on service. Marilyn Skipper, our parliamentarian, is their advisor. Each of the member committees has a budget of $25. And if the committee chooses to meet, say, a certain day in April, we have made arrangements with a church in Columbia to use one of their rooms. And we will cover the cost of that meeting room through the Bow Committee rather than the meeting committee. And we will arrange for AV in the church. Let me also say at this point that following this meeting, I am more than happy to share any and all of these documents with you as PDFs or Word documents. I think this may be an Excel document, but I can make it into a PDF if you'd like to have it. And this synopsis for the 22-23 beta years explains that the Bow Committee provides business functions for and communications with members, guests, the state, and DKG. These committees provide the social and program for a meeting along with focus responsibilities. And I will explain that in the next picture. The SO Committee provides support for the year so that all of the committees get a snapshot of what each committee is doing. Are there any hands up? I can only see 4 people. I'll move on to one committee's charge and show you how that looks. This is the committee charge for the Fellowship and Finances Opportunity Committee. They honor the spirit of our sisterhood and support our financial opportunities while reflecting these purposes of Delta Kappa Gamma, and you can see them there. The charge is given to each committee chair. Their budget is $25. They are to prepare the social experience and the program for the February 2023 meeting. They are to review the draft of our annual chapter budget, offer suggestions, and present it to the chapter for approval. They're to provide an annual audit of our finances and provide a report to the chapter. They are this year also asked to support World Fellowships through communication with Pam Morales. And Pam Morales, I'm going to scoot down here and show you, is a World Fellowship recipient from the Northeast area of Missouri. We have her address. She's studying law in Chicago. And there are suggested ways here that Beta Chapter can support her and she can be involved with us. And I'm grateful to the state for providing this opportunity at our area conference. They're also tasked with developing fundraising ideas, projects, or programs for the chapter to consider. The special note to members of this committee is to deliver their charge for Beta Chapter member or a teen to attend a Beta meeting, share ideas with other Beta committees, and invite an educational student to attend a Beta meeting. This is the chairperson, this is the mentor, boom. No hands? Okay.
If anyone would like to speak, you may unmute yourself and talk at any time.
Okay, we'll move on. Now I want to show you a meeting outline. This is printed in our yearbook and provided to each committee. And this was the 2021 year, and you can understand that Delta State didn't meet that year, even though it was on our planning. This is a snapshot of the meetings for Beta Chapter. TAW Chapter did cancel the December council meeting also, but this was the plan at a snapshot for our members. And these directives were given to them. And it's intended to save them time worrying over things. So the plan is your committee chooses the date of the meeting for the month you're assigned. So the faux committee chooses the date in September when we meet. Or they did 2 years ago. If they choose a Saturday, the meeting time will be 9:30 to 11. If they choose a weekday, the time is 7 to 8:30. And the location will be reserved by the BOW committee after they set the date, unless they choose to have a program at a specific location. And then we'll meet there. The agenda includes this, and I've been pretty rigid with these standards for 2 years, except for one meeting. And Judy was there and she knows what happened. We had one member who, it was a participatory meeting, and it was actually our traditional meeting. We have a traditional meeting. And this member is so talented, and everyone was asked to bring a book or a recipe to share. She brought 6 books and proceeded to tell what was especially good about them. And they were children's books, and every member was mesmerized. So when we got to the 8:30 time limit, I said, ladies, it's time for us to conclude. Would you like to continue? And they just looked at me like I was from outer space. So I just shut up. The meeting went on. Nobody minded. Everybody was feeling good about it. But we have 5 minutes of a welcome, up to 15 minutes of business, and this is what can be included in business. We're not going to take time when we're together to have reports, whether they're glorious or boring. We're not going to do it. They're going to be mailed to you. We're going to expect you to read them or understand them and to act accordingly. We have up to 20 minutes for a member social, and that is a focused activity presented and led by the meeting committee to help members interact with guests and to enjoy fellowship with each other. The program is 45 minutes and then Q&A time. So that has to be decided out with the speaker. It's focused around a purpose of Delta Kappa Gamma and designed to engage and enrich members and guests. The conclusion is 5 minutes, and it's going to include cleanup if we need to. Again, the budget was reiterated and how payment for the use of the chapter of the committee budget will be made. And a reminder that committees in their work are expected to consider these DKG projects: Schools for Africa, the SEED projects, and World Fellowships. Ready to go on? Now I'm going to show you a picture of our Beta Blast, which is our newsletter, because last year we did a C project and it included collecting children's books and distributing them to local educators. And the members of our chapter who distributed the books took the time to take pictures and share them back with the chapter. And we've just printed them in the latest, greatest edition of the Beta Blast. And here they are. And in Columbia, Missouri, well, one recipient was in Jeff City teaching first grade, two were in Fulton. These are schools in Columbia. And Teresa was just graduating and heading to Denver. So we're not sure where she's located now, but she's got some great books to take with her. Planning ahead for this, we developed a chapter brochure, and the brochures were printed and provided to go with each set of books because we see this as an opportunity to recruit new members. This is a trifold piece. And this is the inside, and it talks about things I'm sure you've seen and may have in your own brochures. I will point out that several years ago, I created this logo for our chapter, and you recognize it as the cup that is the upper part of the crest, comes from here. And then I just put the Greek beta in the middle of the cup. So that's, and we are going to, we have the names of the students who, and the young professionals who got our books, and we're going to invite them to all of our meetings, except for the gentleman. Now I want to show you how I organized. One of the things I promised to be elected president, and one of the things I promised was that there would be one BOW committee meeting a year. And so far, I've been faithful in that commitment. The meeting takes place in the summer. It is 3+ hours long and includes a meal at a restaurant. And we collaborate on the date to make sure everyone attends. The agenda is sent out in advance, and the items on the left in black are the items on the agenda. And the items here in black are what we're going to do with those items, discuss them, action, count the attendance, whatever. The red comments are what I added after the meeting because my agenda was much more fleshed out than what I sent the committee members. And then I send this copy to the secretary to compile the minutes. I'm really rather passionate about the records we leave behind. I have been blessed to receive so many records, and I have copied and scanned them. I have minutes of meetings of my chapter that go back to the 1930s. Our chapter will be 84 years old on October 13th. And I believe the October meeting will be a celebration of that. So if there's anything else that you'd like to talk about, I'm eager to hear from you.
Does
I
any-
think it's a great idea that you send all the documents, a copy like you were doing.
When I first became president in 1986, the first thing that happened was delivered to me by a pickup truck were 2 4-drawer metal file cabinets, and they were full. Now, 2 years ago, there were only 9 plastic totes delivered to me. There are now 5 totes. And I have copied all the documents online because that's how our history is being kept now. The National Archives do it, Beta chapter can do it.
I would also be curious as to, I know that you showed the purposes numbers for the one committee you showed us. Do you have the others lined out on a document that we could see as well? I mean, you can probably figure them out on your own, but
No, I don't have it at this point, but I'll be glad to send them to you tomorrow.
okay.
I do have them. I do have them. And you will also notice, are there 9 purposes of Delta
7.
Kappa Gamma?
7.
7?
7. There are some duplicates of those purposes on
Makes sense.
the 5 committees. Mhm. And I'm not going to tell, I'll tell you this, under the Bow committee, we have all 7 of them listed. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Valerie. Does anybody else have anything they want to share about things that their chapter is doing or ideas that you might have or questions you might have?
Diana?
I see.
Oh, I would appreciate having the file that just in an email. Like, could we just get that sent as an attachment, please? Thank you.
Yes, and Valerie, I took note of who is here, and I had sent Valerie the names of people earlier that had responded to me. So she has some of your names, but if your name was not on that list, I'll make sure that she gets it so she can send it out to everybody.
Carol, do you have a question? Would you unmute yourself? You're muted, Carol. We can't hear you.
Okay, now can you hear it?
Now can you hear?
Yes.
Okay, this is Joanne. I have a question about, you meet 4 times a year. And I like the concept of certain groups, 4 groups having the meeting. But what about your fundraising? What kind of projects do you do? Because we kind of incorporate fundraising with our meetings. And I just wondered what you did for fundraising.
Okay, this year, and for this biennium, and I will tell you, I did this deliberately, because I was changing so much at one time and trying also to assess whether it worked. We didn't do any fundraising. We haven't done any fundraising for about 5 years. Our chapter has lost 2 to 4 members every year progressively. And I told you we have 24 members now. We had 27 2 years ago. Our average attendance is 11 people at a
Sounds
meeting.
About
In
like us
fact,
too.
by counting the Zoom attendees and the in-person ones now. We all agreed that we would give quality children's books to teachers, and we would either buy them, donate the money for them, or get them at estate sales. And that's what we did. We went around getting them at estates. We gave away more than 150 books. I was just absolutely amazed when we all came together. Everybody bring your books to this meeting. Yeah. Oh my gosh. One Dolly brought in a box of books, a fucking Dolly. We had so many books. And the committee in charge of that meeting was perceptive enough to make papers that said grade levels. And they did a span of 1 to 3, and they put it over here. And each of us took some books and started deciding, is this grade level 3 or is this grade level 5? And we put them in the right piles. It was pretty much organized chaos, but it was part of what brings sisters together too. I'm not sorry for it one bit. It was great.
Well, how did you decide who received the books?
Well, we communicated with our members who were teachers in the school system. And we decided it would go to people who were teaching the first 3 years in Columbia, or were simply new to teaching, period, in Columbia. So it was early educators. C means supporting early educators.
Yeah.
And early means early in their career. Now, it could be in their career in a new system, or it could be in their career after college. Early is a big time. We had our new member that will initiate in September was a teacher in Columbia, Missouri, who had just started there from Charlotte, North Carolina, and she'd never heard of Delta Kappa Gamma, and she had taught for 20 years. She brought her student teacher to our meeting. So and that girl has already asked me when she can join Delta Kappa Gamma. She was so impressed by our meeting and the collegiality and the support that she saw, that is not like what you get from your families. It's not like what you get from your principal or your superintendent or even your colleagues in the same grade level. It is separate and very powerful. And she saw that. We collect, back to the question of money, we collect a pin fine if you don't wear your pin to a meeting. And I raised the pin fine from 50 cents to $1. There are people who hate to see me coming. I am not bashful about getting in other people's purses and dragging out a buck or sending them an electronic done, whatever. And they take it all in fun and they realize it. In fact, yesterday, one of our members contacted the secretary and asked if she said she couldn't find her pin. She wanted to buy a new pin. And we have over time collected pins from members who are deceased. You know, that's part of the process that we ask members to consider, that you leave a document that says your pin should be given back to your chapter. And so we have some pins and we sell them at the same price that International does, but there's no time lag and there's no postage. And the pins aren't damaged in any way. They're just as good. Some of them are bigger than the ones you can get from International, and they won't last forever because we're going to get more new members. But we do what I call incidental fundraising. And I haven't said anything, don't tell my members, but at the September meeting, if you don't have red on, you're going to be done. You're going to be done at the meeting. Yeah. We have in the past made 13 bean soup. Are you ladies familiar with that concept?
Yeah.
In quart jars, and the beaning was done at my house, and I have the most hilarious photographs of that experience. And we sold them in quart jars for $5 a piece to raise money. We had at my house a garage sale. And for a year, I sent emails to every member and called people and said, okay, this week we're going to focus on bedroom. What in your bedroom can you donate to this garage? And they brought the things to my garage, and we made $800 and some odd dollars. It takes a lot of pre-work, but it raises money. And they came and helped sit in my garage and collect money on the day. We did it for 2 days, I think, the garage sale. So that's one thing. We have a long list of things that we can do to raise money. But I'll be honest with you, and this was even before the pandemic, our retired members are active traveling people. They're not sitting home waiting to ask to have
Travel.
something to do. The teachers are managing families, children, hobbies, full-time work, parent conferences, the whole ball of wax, and coming to beta chapters. We have filled our time in ways that kind of put those active kinds of collaborative fundraising events on the back burner. At the same time, we have very generous members. If we ask them to donate to a cause, they do. It was the last thing we did in 1986, but it's now the first way to raise money in 2022. Simply ask people to give $1 for every year they've been a member of DKG. And those of you who weren't sure how many years you've been members, check it out, find out. I think International has that information, don't they? Surely they do. Sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Valerie.
you.
Is there anybody
Thank you.
else from another chapter that wants to share about their fundraising, or does anybody have something else they'd like to discuss?
Nancy?
We have an annual fundraiser. Our first meeting's in September, and our fundraising meeting is November, and we have an annual auction. And that's the program for that meeting. And so people bring things for the auction. They might be gently used things. Maybe they got a gift that they never use, and so they bring it. Sometimes people buy things, so they bring in new things. Some people make things. And so we bring in lots of auction items, and then we auction them off. So in my case, I brought items to sell, and I also bought some items. So we're actually buying each other's things. But because it's in November, it's before the holiday season, and you're thinking about Christmas gifts and things like that. So we typically, and it's just a fun meeting. We enjoy doing it. We typically make about $900 and just in that event. And if we have leftover items that would be suitable, we donate them to the local nursing home when they're looking for gifts that the residents could wrap up and give to family members. So if we have things like
Oh.
that, we do that. And then some of our members actually go in December and wrap those gifts for the residents. So that's another project that we've done. But the auction is fun. And if somebody's unable to come, or they don't see anything that they need to bring to their house, then we ask that they make a donation, but we don't follow up on it. But I think people are pretty good about that. So to make $900 at a meeting, I think is good. And then we have a comfortable budget that way. We're able to donate to different causes, or donate to the church where we meet, or the sheltered workshop where we meet. We can donate those sorts of things because we have that budget.
That's great. I see Laura has her hand up. Laura Scott.
Yes, I just wanted to add something about our yearbook. we updated our yearbook and really included a lot of information, including photos of everyone. Because sometimes you just can't place a face with the name if you're a bigger group or new. And we also put in under each person's information, the date they joined. So everybody knows how many years they've been in. And we also put what awards they've gotten and what year they got those awards, so that we're looking for new people to recognize. And that's worked really well for us.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I like. all
Great
the
idea.
information you share. Yeah. Does anybody else have any other comments or questions before we end? I'm trying to keep it to an hour, so I'm not taking up too much of your valuable time.
I'm trying to think of a way that Nancy could use that auction as a way to attract potential members. I haven't got it yet, but I'm thinking about it.
We do ask folks to invite potential members to that meeting because it's just a fun one. And
Could you target one school and invite all the, I don't know, third grade teachers one year, or all the, you see what I'm saying? Target a school and as a chapter, invite them, even if you don't know them.
mhm.
It would be an interesting idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I just wanted a couple reminders at the end to save the date for our Missouri State Convention next April 28th and 29th in Columbia, Missouri, at the Courtyard by Marriott, and there will be more information coming soon about that. Also at that convention, I'm still looking for members that have artistic talents to share those with us. So if you or someone else in your chapter has ability, it could be crafts, it could be singing, it could be writing, whatever their talent is, to share at that convention, let me know. I'm looking for people for that. Otherwise, we will be meeting again. I'm trying to do it at least 4 times this year. So I have a daughter getting married in November out in California. So I'm kind of going to be really busy with that in the next month or two. But after that, I would like to have another meeting. So it might be like near the holiday times, which I know is not ideal. But I'm thinking, like after the wedding, like near Thanksgiving, but not on Thanksgiving or the week of Thanksgiving, or maybe the first week of December before people get too busy. So look for an email from me of another Zoom meeting. And I believe our next topic is going to be on membership. So we're going to talk about membership and how to gain new members. So those are some things to look forward to. Again, thank you all so much for taking the time to join us tonight. And I hope that you gain some good information that you can take back to your chapters and use. And I will give Valerie the rest of the email list so that she can send the information to you from this meeting. Does
Great
anybody-
job, Valerie.
Yeah, you did a great job.
Thank you.
Valerie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, ladies, I'll see you next time on Zoom or hopefully in
Hey.
person.
Have a
Bye.
good day.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay,
Well, I'm going to.
Welcome home, Myrna.
oh, they're still, they don't have us on mute yet.
You're muted.
Oh, we are muted. Did she hear?
No,
Myrna.
not you. Myrna's muted. She was saying,
Oh.
Okay.
you're still muted. That's okay. We'll talk later. Myrna just got back from Belize.
Oh, I didn't know she was in Belize.
There I am. Hey, is Valerie
Mm.
still there?
Valerie has left us, I believe.
Judy, I think that would be great to have her speak at the state convention in a workshop. What do you think?
Yes, I think she would be willing to do that too. She was,
I think those topics, those way to organize committees and things like that. I think she has some great ideas, and people that weren't able to join this or whatever, just,
Right. I agree. And I think she would be happy to do it. She was more than willing to do this, and I think she did a great job.
I do too.
And I'm hoping people, I was just very impressed with the number of people that joined us today too. I was so happy about
Yes.
that. So it's great success for, I think, our first chapter president meeting, and try to keep going with these because I think they're very
Absolutely.
if nothing
Absolutely.
else, it keeps us connected, it keeps us kind of thinking and helping one another. And so,
I think it's great to have thoughts about, how you can shake things up a little bit and get fresh ideas and just, it's just a good idea to think about. Even changing the names of committees sometimes kind of gives neat thoughts,
Well, and the number in our chapters has gone down. So we have to think about ways to combine those committees that we've always had, like,
And having the committee in charge of the meeting, I think that helps the president so much. So the president doesn't have so much to do, and having a planning meeting is so, so important,
mhm.
At the,
Um,
at International, they said there are only 5 committees for your chapter because they combined all of these other ones. So she's combined them in a way that I'm not sure if it matches what International said. I'd have to look at it, but
Right. And I realize that, but I do think that international is opening up to the idea that we need to think outside the box if we're going to
Yes,
our
well,
members.
you have to do what's right for your chapter,
absolutely.
which is what she's doing. But
Yes.
I'm just saying that International's gone to just the 5, so it makes sense. They've gone to 5 already.
Right.
So
See, and I think some people, and I may be wrong, but I think some people think, oh, you can't change the committees. If
Oh.
there's rules, you gotta have exactly, I don't know. I mean, maybe you can't, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think like you said, Diana, you gotta do what's best for if your chapter's gonna die, why does it matter? If
Do what you have-
International has said, you gotta have 14 committees or whatever,
right.
So I think that would be great. So, yeah, very successful.
Thank
Very
you, ladies, for joining me too. I appreciate it. I'm really trying to show that we are a team working together and it's not just me trying to do everything. So
Right.
appreciate you joining with us this evening.
Well, that's what it's all about. It's got to be teamwork,
Yeah, definitely. All right,
All right.
ladies, take care and I'll see you next time. If
Heidi,
not before.
If we
Yes.
don't, have a wonderful time in California at your daughter's wedding.
Oh, thank
Yes.
you, Diana. Thank you, Myrna. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're getting
Yes.
excited about it just around the
Yes.
corner now. So
Yes. So wonderful. So wonderful.
All
All
right.
right. Y'all take care.
thanks. You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye.